back to the Monday edition. We need the F it Monday edition of Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host and Disembodied Hands Quinty, Disembodied Beard John, and an earless Kuro. How are you today? Eek. That sounds like a haggis recipe I'll avoid. Hi, Roger. Thank you for the resub. 65 months. Let's see, did I miss anybody? Did anybody else resub? No. Okay, cool. I didn't miss anybody. Sweet. And a 64-month streak. That's pretty awesome. Hey, Splat. Yeah, wow. Yeah, long time no see. World jaunting about. Well, I'm glad you got out and explored reality. Yeah, all right. Here we go. Let's go down to our Troll King. Quinty's like, every day needs to be F it. F it Monday, F it Tuesday, F it Wednesday. We could sing this to the theme song from Happy Days, right? Monday, Tuesday, F it days. It is a Monday. I agree. All right, I'm to the point where I want to start blocking in some other colors on this guy so that I can see what everything is going to be. And I'm still trying to decide on the hair color down here. It might just be a kind of an iron gray for this guy's hair. I might just kind of like bleach it out a little bit, like take it really dark, but then bleach it out with streaks or something. The head is like, just honestly guys, rotting heads are my least favorite accessory for models. They almost always are like a challenge to like work into your color scheme. And they tend to be distracting because it's a face, right? But they're always hanging off belts, and so they're always too far down. This one isn't quite as bad because at least it's kind of facing the floor, so you don't get, like, you don't see it necessarily right away. You see him instead. He's mostly wearing bones. And I probably want to make that like brass or bronze or gold. I'm looking at... Now he's got a wooden stick with bone around it, so I probably want to go dark with the wood so that the bone stands out. So that's easy. We can do that. That's doable. Hey there, Matthew. Oh, yeah, due to cold, you get to work from home. Nice. F it every day. Alrighty. So let's get some of that going on. I think... I had this dark flash from the ReaperCon MSP 2.0 colors. I was thinking of mixing that with some brown liner to get a color from the giant club he's got. Might make it good. I know I was using brown liner with white for the bones. I might warm that up a little bit because he's got a lot of very warm colors on him. The purple is warm. I mean, everything here is warm, right? You've got like orange defaults to warm. We've got a very warm green because it's got a lot of yellow and orange in it. And then even the purple is a reddish purple. It's not a cold purple. So we're very much going toward warmer colors on this model. And there is a certain school of thought that I learned from Sergio when he was teaching here. And not everybody follows this. It's a lot like the school of thought that says your colors on the model should also appear somewhat in your basing. But so it's optional, right? But it's a philosophy that you can try out and see if you like it. So this philosophy is that, that a model is generally either warm or cool. And that doesn't mean that the colors on the model that's cool means green, blue, purple, and a warm model is red, orange, yellow. It means that when you look at each color, is it the warm version of that color or the cold version of that color? So it's a little bit more like nuanced. And this is definitely a warm model. So that means maybe I do want to take this really warm dark flesh color and turn it into a base for the wood colors on here. And maybe even the bone a little bit. So let's back up. I'm going to try to keep this week low stress. That's my goal. So I'm going to use a couple drops of the brown liner. I'm going to kind of do a 1-to-1 mix of this and the dark flash and see what kind of color I get. A little bit sneezy today. Oh, I think it's just dry. We haven't had any rain or anything for a while. There's probably dust and tree mung in the air. Dead tree mung, the best kind, not. Thank you. I need all the blessings I can get. Okay, I'm going to mix these colors together and see what kind of a dark brown I can get. That's not a bad dark brown. The brown liner is going to make it a little bit more transparent. So he's got a big bone on the end of it. I think I'm going to just start... You can just see a little bit of wrapping around this. Like there's a tiny bit of wrap, you know, the bone that's the handle is got a leather wrap or something around it. We can only see it at the very bottom of his hand, so I'll probably just make it purple and be done. And I'll probably make the wraps, these straps that are on here, also purple, just because I want to repeat colors around the model. I tend to like to do that. I'm just going to test this brown. I think it's going to work out pretty well. I want a dark brown but warmer, so instead of just using the brown liner, I warmed it up with the dark flesh. I could go farther than that. I could use a super warm brown. I could have just used russet or something and highlighted it with an orange or yellow. But decided I wanted to use a 2.0 color, so. Actually, let's make sure we're in focus. There. Good. Hey, Slayer. Alrighty. So here I'm just going to be neat. I mean, I could just coat over all these spikes with the brown and just come back and paint them. But sometimes it's like the neatness that the little bit of extra time I spend here kind of avoiding them, just saves me time later. It depends. It depends on the model. It depends on how much detail we're talking as far as whether I take pains to go around some of this stuff. The other reason is that I know it from the past that sometimes it's easy to miss one of these. So if I cover over everything with brown, it's very easy to miss a spike. So instead, I'm just feeling like a neat freak today. Wow, cold, very cold for you, Quindy. Didn't ice, yeah. Nice, Quindy. The Armageddon threat made everybody stay off the roads. How convenient. Is your new place closer to work or farther away for you? I used to like to have a bit of a commute in the morning. It helped me organize my mind, such as it was. Oh, 72 by 10 a.m. Yeah, Texas does that. Yeah, I got accustomed to that in Texas. In the winter, it would sometimes go up to 70 or even higher, and then suddenly, or in the fall, and then it would just plummet to like freezing overnight. It's insane. This is a nice dark brown. I'll be able to warm it up more when I highlight it. Shadows usually are cooler. I'm starting dark on this one because I want the contrast. If I started lighter, it wouldn't give me as much contrast in the end with these blades, which I might make bone or I might make metal. I haven't decided yet. I think I might make a metal because I'm going to make the dagger here metal. It's tempted to make everything bone, but then it's going to be hard to differentiate all these materials. So even though stylistically I might want all the weapons and everything to be bone, I'll decide to make them a different color artistically. So it all depends on whether you're trying to paint the character per the character, or if you're trying to make it a good paint job where everything stands out. That's up to you. Get all these little nubbin guys. Those little spinal bits. It's closer, nice. Ah, staying off the interstate. That's gotta be nice. Yeah, I like a little bit of a commute in the morning. I always found it kind of good to have a transition between home and work mentally. Back when I was living at home and working at Six Flags, it was about a 20-minute commute, and that was about perfect. That was about what I had at Reaper 2 after I moved out after the divorce and was living on the north side of town. Thrilled. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Agree. Out here, I hate getting, like, I've gotten more used to it now, but when I first moved here, because of all the different cultures that live here, and all the different, people coming from different countries with different traffic rules, or in the case of some, no traffic rules, it could get, I was just like, when I first moved here, I was like, oh my god, this is worse than Chicago. This is worse than LA. Maybe not worse than LA. LA really is special when it comes to traffic. But I was aghast. I've gotten a little bit more accustomed to it now, but I still don't like to. Still don't like the interstate driving. At least not the big one, like 101. Which is the one that goes straight up into San Francisco. It's the big through highway. Some of the smaller highways around here are beautiful and not nearly as scary. Alright, this is a big old piece of wood, so I think I'm gonna do the outer layer up here in dark and the inner layer, let it be a little lighter. So I have to call the vet today. I'm not looking forward to it because it's going to be a confrontational call. I've never had this level of ridiculous. Like, okay guys, in my day, and I've owned dogs for many years now, you all know. But back in Texas, like, there was never, you must do this in order to get your flea and tick medicine. Right? There was like, oh, you need flea and tick medicine, let us sell it to you. And if your dog hadn't ever been on it, sure, then you wanted to do the for heartworm, you wanted to do the blood test to make sure that they weren't affected because it can hurt them if they aren't, or if they are. So, but here, it's like so many hoops, and we took Kiki in to get all of her shots, get the blood test for they make me do a heartworm test every year, even though the dog has been on medication for the whole year. Yeah, better than the interstate. That's good, Quindy. Happy morning, Gilded Brush. Good to see you. But yeah, so I have to do the heartworm test every year because the vet won't refill the med otherwise, even though it's only recommended, not mandated by the company. The first time they brought this up, I looked at them and said, "Does the medication not work? Does the medication you're selling me for this not work or something?" They were very flustered. But essentially what it is that vets want to be able to make a consistent income. And so now they're mandating all these annual services. And I get it, but I don't know. I mean, I have worked with many vets, as far as, I had good relationships with my veterinarians in Wisconsin and in Texas. 3 different veterinarians in Texas, for that matter. And they never had a problem staying in business. But, so anyway, what happened is we took Kiki in for everything. The blood test, even though I'm grr about the blood test, I still do it because I still want Kiki to get her heartworm and flea and tick stuff. And it ended up that the only appointment they could get us in was a tech appointment, so that's fine. So I drop her off and she does, they do all the stuff, all the vaccinations, blood test, all the stuff. We pick up Kiki. Then I get an email notice that they're canceling our prescription, or they're not going to fill our prescription for our flea and tick and heartworm med, because we didn't have an actual veterinarian see her. And I'm my dog is 3. She's not old. There's nothing wrong with her. You just did every test on the planet and gave her all her vaccinations, and you're going to cancel my prescription because I didn't have the actual vet see her, which would have taken another 2 or 3 weeks, right, to get in for an appointment? Yeah, I'm not a believer, Splat. I really believe that it's kind of a money play, and it makes me very angry. I swallow it because, I live here, I have to deal with it. But I've never, anywhere else I've lived, I've never had it, ever. But it's becoming a thing. So it's like they're trying to pattern veterinary medicine on human medicine now. And since I'm not a huge fan of our human medical system, it doesn't go over well with me. These poor people who have to deal with me. Seriously, folks. All right, I think I'm going to use the brown for kind of the band around his head. I don't think that's metal. I think it's more like a wrap, like leather. So I think I'm going to do the brown up here. I could do purple. I could do purple, couldn't I? The purple would be more crowny. Oh yeah, but you get to use one just tech visit. Yeah, that's what I'm definitely really unhappy about this. Because okay, if this was a thing, you should have told me, right? You should have told me, okay, but you're still missing this and we're not going to be able to refill your medicine. Right? This is just BS. There's no reason that your doctor needs to listen to my dog's heart, which you've done before. Uh-huh. Well, yeah, the people swearing they give it. Right. Yeah. See, yeah, and we didn't have, I don't remember how it was in Texas. It's just, it was never mandatory, Quindy. It was never mandatory. It was recommended, not mandatory, and they didn't even recommend it. My vet, she's yeah, I know you guys, you're good dog owners, and she never even brought it up. So, I don't know. I just get a little angry. I get a little angry because they didn't warn us about it. And Kiki gets so stressed at the vet. She freaks out. She's hyperventilating, being a crazy dog. And I just don't want to deal with that. I especially don't want to deal with that when it's just a formality, right? And it's just going to cost us $120. I bring the dog in. They listen to her heart, even though she's a freak out. And she's freaking out. So how much does that really do? It just, yeah, it just makes me kind of, yeah, right. I don't want to put her through that. I already put her through getting everything on Earth done to her when I brought her in. I don't want to have to bring her in again. So there's going to be a phone call, or I show up like on their doorstep today. I haven't decided whether I actually want to go over there and talk to them in person about this. But it's like, if they were to pull this crap, and I had like 3 months. They overshipped us anyway on our meds, so I've had extras for the last like 2 months. But it's just like, it's just such a pain in the ass. It's extra stress, extra time. And all because they didn't think to say, oh, we won't be able to refill your medication because you only had a tech appointment. Yes, exactly. $120 to panic my dog and burn an hour or two for my day. Yeah, that's exactly it, Matthew. That's why I'm pissed. Yeah, they are definitely creating reasons to charge more. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had a really good vet in Texas. I wish I could just like have a teleporter so I could just take Kiki to my old vet, who was so much better. Yeah, it's so frustrating. So I'm just trying to figure out like, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna call them. And then if calling them gets me like a snippy answer or something, then it's gonna be me showing up in the clinic making an issue. Again, more stress for me, time out of my day, disrupting my schedule, all because these people. Like, I'm tempted to walk. A new vet just went in down the block from us. I'm tempted to walk over there and say, hey, you know, I have some questions. Do you guys do this? Because I'd rather just take Kiki down the block, honestly. There we go. Oh, yeah, I have pet insurance. I learned that in Nelson with Kiri. It paid for like 90% of her cancer care. But the pet insurance doesn't kick in until you pass a certain amount. And because, you know, we have pet emergency savings account, our deductible is high. So for this kind of thing, it's not even a thing. But yeah, I do believe in pet insurance because, you know, cancer and all that. Just like with humans, cancer's kind of, you know, it happens with canines. And then there's, you know, stuff like bloat and other things that can happen that are expensive and unexpected. So getting the stuff done for Nova. Yeah, breeding. Yep, yep. Yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, I went through. God, I spent at least 3,000 on Kiki's testing. I think, at least. Yeah, it's a big barrier with breeding, and then you know you're probably not gonna make your money back on the first litter. I sure didn't, but we had only 3 puppies in our first litter. If you're even concerned about that. I wasn't so much because I more wanted to just help the gene pool. All right, now I'll get some liner, I think, and go around some of these bones up against the skin and stuff. Yeah, I think that, I don't know, back and forth on whether I want that to be purple. I haven't decided about his necklace either. He's got a lot of colors, and this makes it hard. Yeah, I'm not convinced by that purple. I think I want the brown instead. Sometimes you've got to paint something a color before you decide that you chose the wrong color. I don't know. I'm going to put the purple on in there. Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Kuro. Bummer. Yeah, it's definitely a stress. All right. All right, all right, all right. I'm gonna put the purple on the straps on the weapon and see how that looks. Oh, I see. There's the end of the bone. All right. I'm trying to figure out how this is working so it's bound to that. All right. I'm trying to figure out, like, sometimes weapons don't make a lot of sense. Of course, he regrets nothing. Yep, that you and me have exactly the same attitude toward breeding. Sounds like Kodiak. That was always my concern was that something would happen to Kiri. I think I ended up around breaking even in the end. We had 2 litters. But yeah, it can be a lot of costs to do it right, which is why you have so many backyard breeders out there just throwing dogs together. All right, now that I understand kind of that we've got a femur bone going up the back of this, that means the front of this wood there. Just trying to figure out what all these parts are. Yeah, I don't think the purple is actually going to show up back there, so... You don't make much sense either, Brindy. That's fair. I mean, the cool thing, Kodiak, is that honestly, I mean, for me, it was always like half and half as to whether I was disappointed or happy that Kiki wasn't going to be bred. Because on the one hand, yeah, it's expensive, and there is some stress just because you want your girl to be okay. But on the other hand, I really loved raising the puppies, doing all the like socialization stuff with them, watching their little personalities develop, seeing them grow, being able to play with puppies to de-stress whenever you wanted to, sitting in the box with little tiny puppies on you, like those are experiences that honestly, like, it was worth it for me. It's a lot of work, don't get me wrong, like cleaning the whelping box and puppy area is a lot of work, but then when you sit down and you get to like be with your puppies and just hang out and play with them and trim their little nails and brush their fur and snuggle them so they get like used to a lot of human interaction. It's very fun. Making new toys for them. Like I would cut up a cardboard box to make it have so that it had like holes in it that they could climb into and out of, and I would make tunnels for them. It was always fun introducing new toys. Yeah. I mean, it certainly cured me. Whelping certainly cured me of squeamishness. I lost a lot of my squeamishness after seeing that many colors of goo come out of my dog. It would be like in the future, in some weird nebulous future time, if I was like retired and had more time, I might consider getting a breeding dog again and just having a couple of litters for the gene pool. I might, but just because with all of the stress, there also was all the positive. And I made friends, like, some of my puppy people turned into good friends when I was in Texas. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It is a lot. And the other thing that you could consider, which I did with Kiri, is keeping a puppy. Which is it is you don't get that sale obviously, but I mean one of the most wonderful things for me, as you guys know, about having had litters in the past is when I see Kiri in a puppy, in a modern puppy. Like when there was a Kiri like puppy in a litter, whenever there is one, I'm always tickled. It makes me happy to see my dog living on in her descendants. Like that's one of the coolest things for me. And we kept Blazy from her second litter. And that was really nice. Like being able to keep a puppy that you essentially like have had from its first moment on Earth. And Kiri really loved that we kept one of her puppies. Kiri and Blazy got along really well. So yeah, it's got pros and cons, pluses and minuses. What I would recommend is that if you do like if you get enough puppies and you see a little bit of money back from the first litter, do not spend it. Put that money into a separate bank account specifically for expenses for the second litter. And maybe you'll use it and maybe you won't. But having it there in case of emergency or in case of whatever was really peace of mind for me. I pretty much put away I think we had $1,500 from the first litter. I just put it in an account and sat on it. Yeah, it's peace of mind is worth it, especially like I wasn't full of money when we had our litters, and so having that money there and knowing that I could pull on it if I needed it for the litter was really it helped with the stress. Because you just got the big lump of money, you can just pretend it doesn't exist, just put it away. And then when you have expenses for that second litter, you just use it. And then when you've decided you're done, if you decide, well, we're never having another litter, then great, that money can go wherever you want it. But like a lot of people will keep a female out of their dog, and then they'll essentially have a couple more litters with that girl who they actually own. If you do that, then keep the account, right, obviously. So you have the money for when you need to pay stud fees or, do health testing or whatever. But yeah, it's just a good idea. That way that way none of this stuff has to come out of actual household expenses, and your spouse doesn't get annoyed. Or you don't get annoyed, depending on which of you is more likely to be annoyed. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just... I'm not sold on that purple. I may do purple on the cord instead and do brown up there. I don't like the purple on the crown. I think I'm just going to do that. I'm going to switch it. Purple's the obvious color for the cord around his neck anyway, so I'm going to lighten it a little bit though. So I'm going to paint over this brown. Yeah, I like that better. Yeah, your wife has learned the downsides of having a big dog. Yep. Yeah, there are. Yeah, little dogs are not necessarily less work, but they definitely come with a different suite of problems or challenges. Big dogs have their pluses and minuses, just like everything else. I'm happy with Keekers, but I think that after this, we're taking a break. Alright, gonna do a little bit of lining here around these bones. Maybe we'll do a lot of the bone. We'll start on the bone today. Yeah, especially when you're, depending on if you're not very strong, as I wasn't when I started with Kiki, or if you're older, having a big dog can be a real challenge. I mean, I have Kiki to thank for starting CrossFit. Just making sure I've got my lining in here so that the bone will stand out. Yeah, she was unprepared. Yeah, especially for a big dog if you haven't had any dogs since childhood. Yeah, there's definitely challenges. Trying to make sure that I've got some lining in there. I think for all those bones now I do. Oh, except for the one back here. Oh, and I missed the back of his ear. Oh no. I'm gonna mix up a little bit of green just to put that in there. Kiki, my oh no was not for you. And the other one is purple. I appear to have failed on the ears, folks. The back of the ears. Yeah, the more you work on her, I mean, she's 2 now, right? So you'll see another maturity uptick around age 3 usually. Big dogs take longer to mentally and physically mature. Alright, well, since I painted the back of the one ear purple, I'm going to paint the back of the other ear purple, and then I'm going to put green over the top. Just make it more shadowed. Yeah, she's definitely grown some adult vein cells, yes. Yeah, for sure. And it'll keep improving. Like, shepherds are really dogs that, like, you see them really come into their own around age like 5 or 6. This is terrible. I know. It's a long time to wait for total maturity. Some are a bit earlier, some are a bit later. And of course, it's all about being consistent, like you say, doing training, all that kind of thing. There we go. At least I've got dark green on the back of the ears now. I can see some spots I missed down here too. And I need to like bring in the pinks on the ear as well. I did a bit of black and purple, but I didn't bring the fleshy tones up there. So need to do some fine tuning on the face of this model for sure. And maybe the time for that is now. All right. Bringing a little purple in under this cheekbone, just like under the other one. Alrighty. Yeah, I like the brown up there a lot better. We'll just do the cord here in purple. I'm going to get out my orchid purple because I want to create some highlights where it's hanging down. Fade it a little bit. Get some of my Blazing Forge out to highlight that as well. There we go. Oh, again? Geez, Twitch is just like very twitchy. I think the last several streams we've had problems like this. Okay, let me know, Quindy. Just putting some water in my paint. Have we leveled off? Oh, okay. Came back? Good. Good. Alright, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just mixing up more of my full palette there. Yo, Tristoma. We're fine. Except for Twitch being twitchy. Oh, I need to get this off of my thing. For those who missed my Saturday stream, my Golden Demon model now has a head. Otherwise, not much progress was made. Oh yeah, Voodoo Queen up for sale today. Kiki, no, come on. Kix, come on. You're fine. Good girl. Yeah, you're fine. Hi there, big head. What's up? What's up, giant rump? Yes, giant rump. Look at this giant fluffy rump. Giant fluffy rump. Fluff Rumpulus. Kiki Fluff Rumpulus. I think that's your new name. Yeah, Fluff Rumpulus? Yeah? Is it true? What? I'm gonna get your tail. Oh, now I got the head again. Alright, yeah. Don't you just put your butt to me. You gotta bring your head over here, big floof. There, good girl. Good girl, Keekers. Good girl. She good girl. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I left a box to get in your way. Yes, giant head. Why? How did you get such a giant head? I don't understand. It's so huge. Want to drop the link to that Voodoo Queen, Quindy? Since she's on sale today. And we want the bigatures to sell. We want the bigatures to sell so there will be more bigatures. That's the goal. I'm going to put Orchid down at the bottom of this. And then I'll use sticks a little bit more as we go back up toward the top. Thank you, Quindy. So yeah, guys, if you want Reaper to make more bigatures, make some room in your cart for the first bigature. I may get one to paint on stream, though we'll need to do a little bit of adjustment to make sure that she's a little more modest, shall we say, with her clothing choices for the stream. But this would not be the first model that I have done a conversion on to give her a full shirt, so. Afternoon, Valadar. Lots of ice, Twistedoma. That's good. Yeah, if you got power, you're good. Yeah, rightfully so with the ice apocalypse. What, a year ago, where Texas went down, pretty much all of Texas. Probably gonna lighten this color up a bit. Yeah, that is lucky, Valandar. 3 to 4 instead of 6 to 8, huh? It's a bit more manageable. 3 or 4 inches is a good amount. It's enough snow to play in. Yeah, I think making the necklace purple was a better call. Just going to bring in a little bit of highlight on the cord here. And then I'll go back up to the lighter red color up here on top. Cool. We got a little bit chilly out here, but not too bad. We have the cheaty weather. Glad I'm not in an area that can be ice apocalypsed anymore. Glad the rest of you made it through with power and such. Have you thought about getting a generator, Twisted Oma? Kiki, no, that's enough. Come on, come on. That's enough. It's enough. No. No. You know better. No barking at the microphone. No, no barking. No barking, giant head. Yeah, I want you to be a good girl. Yeah, I want you to be a good girl so we can have a good day. Yeah, we want to have a good Monday. I know that's very non sequitur. That's a very odd thing to wish for, but I would like a good Monday. Yeah, that's not selfish. That's such sensible. I don't know how much generators cost. Using highlights to kind of like fade out the reddish color, the orchid, because I use the orchid for the tongue, I still want the tongue to stand out. So instead of like trying to make the necklace here really pop, I'm bringing in like the salamander orange and the white plus salamander orange to like throw on a really pale highlight, which will bleach it out a little bit. Bleach out the color a little bit. It'll still stay purple, but you can see it'll just tone it down a little bit. Yeah, house generator. Yeah. I have a whole house generator now that runs on natural gas line. Yeah, really expensive. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't sure how expensive they were. But it might be worth looking into Twisted Oma. Oh, a little bit of blob there. Blob to the necklace with a little bit of brown. That's okay. It's probably dirty. I'll have to fade out some stuff on the purple here. We'll be doing definitely fading the color out and making it more dirty. Yeah, I guess that your hubby has a point if you've only lost power once. Although that's still like, that'd be enough to put the fear into me. Maybe not a whole home generator, but maybe just something small. Small, maybe gas powered Twisted Oma. Something that could get you through. I don't know how practical that is. I've done no research into it. Alright, so just lining there to bring out the purples. Yeah, you deal with hurricanes, yeah. Ah, okay, yeah, out in the woods, yeah. That makes sense then. You're right, that they wouldn't get one. It would make sense for them. I'm going to try to bring in a little bit more highlight here. I want a little bit more water. Kind of throwing a bunch of like kind of the orange, the Blazing Forge into this and these highlights too, so that again it kind of bleaches out, makes the this necklace look really irregular, stained and kind of like discolored, which fits the character. But I still keep those base colors that match with the color scheme. Yeah, peace of mind. Yep. Oh wow, lost power for 5 days. Ah, portable generators. Yeah, portable generator is more what I was thinking of, Twisted Oma, for you. I don't know how long they last or if it would be worth it. But like being able to like not worry if you do lose power. Maybe those aren't quite as expensive. I don't know. Yeah, because just because nothing's ever happened doesn't mean that it won't happen. Yeah. But yeah, that's your decision. But I hope that you can get some peace of mind. I hope nothing happens to me mean that you need it when you don't have it. Alright, so just a little highlighting there. So you can see how the color kind of transitions and undulates and pinkish and more dark purpley grayish and then back around. Oh, I bet, Croniko. this looks good now. I'm happy. Fill them with gas every 4 to 6. Yeah, they don't last that long then. You'd think they'd do a little bit better these days than that. I'd want something that would last at least a day, like 24 hours. Although I guess if you keep if you keep some gas, you'd have to keep gas on the property then. Maybe that wouldn't be worth it. I don't know. Bummer if that's the only option. You'd think that these days they could do a little better than that. Now I have to look this up. I see. Yeah, you need... Oh, you can connect them to propane tanks. Interesting. Natural gas or propane tanks. Standard portable gasoline generators typically need refueling and cooling breaks every 6 to 18 hours. Interesting. Well, now I know. Oh, you can get dual fuel generators so you can use propane. Propane is stable longer. Oh, okay. 1,400 is better than 7 to 15,000. And knowing is indeed half the battle, Bill. 100%. Yeah, I've just never been in a situation where I needed a generator, but I was curious. It's good that you know because you have them, Bryce. That's cool that you're here to answer the questions. You have more. You grok this better than I do. Dual fuel generators so you can use propane. Interesting, yeah. Well, if I ever need one, now I'll know. Ah, the cords down here on the arms. I'm going to try to make those purple and see how they work. Just trying to block in. Purple turned out to be our accent color, so we're blocking it in here and there. Yeah, but if you need it, you've got it, Valandar. I mean, being prepared, better than not being prepared. Didn't run them all the time. Heat up the house and then let it sit. Run the refrigerators for a while and let them sit. Yeah, that makes sense, Bryce. Yeah, with me, it's all about peace of mind. Like, my brain wants to be prepared for things. Kiki, no. And these guys appear to be hanging off of this little ring in his skin. Good girl, pups. Good for not barking anymore. Alright, so I'm going to make a little bit of, I'm going to use this orchid to highlight it. Orchid plus white. It can be funny when you're trying to like do contrast, but you're using a darker color, right? So because the arm is lighter, I went darker here with the darker purple. But then to have that show up, I need to probably make sure my lining around it is solid, and I need to highlight it still. Gas doesn't keep for a really long time. Got it. Oh, nice, Bryce. That was really nice of you. Yeah, that makes sense that you only filled up the generators on one tank. That was nice that you were able to help other people. That's like the best of humanity right there. Alright, I want to make a highlight. I'm making these kind of lighter highlights, mixing the Blazing Forge with the Orchid Purple and the white to kind of get this weird kind of pinkish, warm pinkish color. Kind of like that. This. And then I'm using that just to hit a little bit of highlight on top of these guys so they show up. Yeah, I'm glad. Part of me always kind of enjoyed having storms in Texas because we were usually prepared pretty well, and I always kind of liked being cozied up at home. Honestly, we've lost power here worse than I ever did in Texas. David's starting to grumble that there's been no snow. He really wanted to ski this year, but the weather has not cooperated. The only rainy weather we got was when we were in Hawaii. Alright, I think that's pretty good. And these are going straight through the skin, so I don't have to worry about that. But I do... Yeah, they're lined for the most part. Not too bad. Alright. Bone color. We can start with our brown that we mixed and add some of this white to it. I added white. I have a little bit of the Burning Forge or the Blazing Forge in the white. Let's actually, yeah, let's use our combo color here, our brown liner and dark flesh, and see what it gives us. I see. So that really makes a grayed out color. So if I want that bone color to go a little warmer, I'm going to throw just a little bit more of this dark flesh in there. That's a pretty good base for bone. His head's on, Bryce. And I finished the hair. And I started, here, I'll go get him. 1 second. Geekers, hold on. My biggest problem now, Bryce, is he's got 3 freaking layers of cloth, and I want to alternate, and I don't like the green color they used for him, so I might change it up. So we got a lot. We were putting more base coating on after I got his head finished. But yeah, so starting to get some more stuff locked in. But yeah, he's got like this layer, and then he's got the cape. And I want a lot of it to be bone colored. I don't like that they did... It's just trying to alternate light and dark with that is really a challenge because it's up against so many different other surfaces. So I've got to really sit and think what I want to do for the colors on his cloth. Yeah, I get the gist of what you're saying, Twisted Oma, no problem. But yeah, there's just a lot to this model, Bryce. I don't know if I'm going to get it done by the GD. I'm going to highlight get my color, my white together here. All right. Yeah, because they did the cloth like here up against his armor. They did this cloth in like a medium green. It's a lot more of a salamander's color than a dark angel's color. It's really yellowy. I don't like it. Thinking about going with the reddish purple that his little assistants have on instead as one of the layers. I don't know. Not sure how it's gonna go. Alrighty, I want a bigger brush than this. I'm gonna go up to my DaVinci 2 to base coat all this bone. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of him I've still got to do, but we'll see, Bryce. We'll see. Ideally, I need to go a bit faster than this, I think, though. I started late on Saturday because there was road closures, so my run got delayed. I had to go back out to the highway and take a totally different route to my run, which sucked up an extra half an hour or more. It was very annoying, but it meant I started late and I didn't go for as long on my stream on Saturday. Thinking about switching my runs to Sundays instead. It might just be the way that I have to start doing it. That way I'll always be able to start on time for my stream. I won't have to stress. And Sunday I try to really not have. The only thing is it would mean that David and I can't have our breakfast on Sunday. That's the problem. Or we have to get up early and make it work. Because we normally do a nice breakfast together on Sunday. And if I have to run, that would nix that. Unless we do some changes. Which is why I do it on Saturday, but yeah, I don't know. It's not ideal either way. Kiki, I don't think so. So we're just taking this bigger brush so we can base coat a little faster. It still has a nice tip on it. It's the DaVinci Maestro Series 10 size 2. So it's one size up from what my standard brush normally is. Because it's larger, it still holds more paint, but it still has a great tip, so it is easy. I can have it for these details and not worry about it getting sloppy. It's good for base coating precisely base coating larger areas. Oh, but now I need to mix up my liner again because I've spotted an area that I definitely need to line. Alright, now I've got my liner. I can grab a smaller brush real quick and fix this shoulder. There needs to be a shadow underneath here. You can see the white that I didn't quite get in there. And then there's no line here between the shoulder and the bone. But yeah, so I'm thinking about switching up my schedule a bit in the coming months. I need to check with David though, because it's kind of our tradition thing. I don't want to disrupt it without checking with him. I see some little 3D print nubbins I missed before. But yeah, it would be nice to be able to start at 3 and go like a full 2.5 hours or something like that. I'll have to start taking a break in the middle. Oh, I missed the skin right here. Well, I have these colors mixed up, so but yeah, the problem really is just priorities. It's like if I painted more days during the week, more nights during the week, but my priority has been fitness. We need to figure out that rope around his waist too. I might make that straight up the dark flesh color and then highlight it with the Blazing Forge. Oranges make really good highlights for browns in general. Even if it's not straight, even if you just mix the orange into the brown to make a highlight, it tends to work well. There we go. But yeah, Golden Demon and just generally painting for competition, it always comes down to the fact that my life is built around different priorities. And when painting comes up against something like my health, I'm going to always choose my health. I'm always going to choose to go do my physical therapy exercises instead of painting. And it's a choice. I know that if I wanted to sacrifice some of my other stuff, I could get this model done for Golden Demon this year, but my real priority this year is my running, because I signed up for that big scary race in October. So everything else takes a back seat to like staying healthy and getting fitter this year. Yeah. Family stuff for you, obviously, is going to always take precedent. Yep. And that's fine. I mean, if we don't enter till next year, then we don't enter till next year. At least I'm working on it again. Like, just to be working on a Golden Demon entry is huge for me. I would like to have something to enter this year. That's why I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. If I have to switch to the smaller model, I will. And right now, David and I are like playing computer games together in the evening. But that won't last forever because he'll get sick of it. In fact, I think he already has like said, maybe we should just level our characters, separate now. In other words, he like has gotten to a point where he just wants to wants to play his character that he usually plays with me. He wants to play it all the time. So that means I don't necessarily need to play anymore. He'll go off and ramp off and have fun with his ranger character without me. But that's the big race is at Big Bear Lake, which is east in the mountains east of LA. If you Google Kodiak by UTMB 21K, you will find the race website. Or just Kodiak by UTMB. UTMB is the Ultra Trail de Mont Blanc, which is the crazy ultra marathon that's 100 plus miles around the Mont Blanc Massif that goes through France, Italy, and Switzerland. And that organization sponsors all these qualifying races, essentially. So if you go to this one in Big Bear Lake and you race the 50K instead of the 21K, and you are one of the winners or you are first in your age group, you automatically qualify for the big nasty race in France. Or one of the big nasty races, because they also have a 50K, a 100K, and a 100-miler. So yeah, because it's a qualifier for that big thing, it'll be a really cool race weekend, and I'll be able to see some of the like runners I know that I've seen on YouTube and that I follow there, and they'll be there racing, trying to get in. So that'll be fun. And there's going to be a bunch of brands there because it's a big event. So there'll be a really cool vendor village with lots of running stuff. And I'll enjoy that. And then I get to go out in the wilderness for 21 kilometers and try to live. Try to survive. It should be really pretty though. And I'm planning to have fun. I'm not I think I'm not, other than that I would like to finish in less than 4 hours. I don't really have a time goal. But I have no idea how I'll be able to, I have no idea how I'll do, so. I don't even know what to expect from myself because I've never done a mountain race before, so I'm just going to do my best. I'm just putting a second coat on this real quick, just a little bit. I'll want to shade this as well. All these little bones I need to line between them. I need to put some shadows in, just to make them all stand out. And we've got all these bones up here on top. We're just going to go through and get all the bone with this color. They have feed stations. For 21K, I think there's only 2 aid stations. There's more for the other races, of course. There may be other stations that are water stations. I had a wrap of it. 1 second. Yeah, so 21K. Elevation gain, 575, Village of Big Bear Lake. Let's see, course description. Wow, apparently you can see the ocean from there. It's like so high up. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, so there's two checkpoints with assistance permitted. Alright, so yeah. So there are checkpoints, and then there are services, and there's really only one services stop. Oh, by the way, here's the course elevation map, guys. So we start out, and we got some hilly stuff, and then it goes like that. And in order to get to the food, you need to climb that. And then it goes down like that, and you go back around, and then you go back to there. So I will be carrying food and water with me. But they also will have a food and drink aid station in the middle. So, you know, you get 10K in, and that's fair, like 10K. Personally, when I ran my 10K in Sacramento, I didn't need any of the water. They had water stops, but I didn't need any of it because I brought all my own. And I'm going to need to bring about double for this because it's going to be at altitude and there's going to be hills. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of climbing. Yeah, the big hill. Yep. 1,500 feet of climbing, I think, on that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. It'll be my first trail race, my first big trail race. So yeah, it's scary and exciting. Oh yeah, Quindy linked to it earlier. Kodiak, thanks for the reminder though. Oh wow, you've run support. Cool. I'll keep that in mind, Bryce, especially not so much for the 21K, but if I decide to do a 50K and I need a support team, I will totally ask you if you're free. I tend to sign up for these things like way far in advance so I have enough time to train for them, so I will have a lot of notice. But that is 100% awesome of you to offer. I really appreciate it, because I was trying to figure out if I did want to do a longer race, who was I going to get to crew for me? I don't know if David would. He'd probably be on dog sitting duties, and they don't allow kikis. 21K, which is a half marathon, Twisted Oma, except it's a half marathon where you're climbing a mountain. So a half marathon is, 11 miles? 10 point something, but 21K is a little longer than that. Well, that's why I'm training now, Twisted Oma. It probably will kill my quads on the descents, because apparently it kills everybody's quads. But I've been trying to exercise my calves so that they're not as angry with me. They were angry at me just for starting running, so there we go. Nice solid. Oh, except I totally did not have a solid coat down here. Look at that. All that white primer. Ugh. Yeah. Yep. That's what I've been doing for, actually, I've been doing that for over 6 months. I've been running with my gels, and for my long run, I practice fueling. I definitely did hit a point where I was like, where it was too much. Because I let myself have like, I was testing solid food, and I brought a pack of peanut M&Ms with me. And I think I'd had a gel, and then I had the M&Ms, and it was just a little bit. I could tell that it was just a little bit too much with the solid food. Yeah, because when you're running, like your gut is not used to eating while you're running, so you have to train. Yep. Maybe. Yeah, as far as endurance test, you're probably right, Twisted Oma. It's more like it feels more like a marathon, even though it's only a half. But yeah, it's gonna be really pretty. I have a T-shirt from my favorite YouTube trail runner that says "Suffer in beautiful places," and that's pretty much the vibe here for trail running. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know. I maybe someday when I have a lot of time to train, if I'm still running, if I'm still running when I'm like semi-retired or whatever, um I might want to try an ultra. I think a 50K. I think that's enough. That's just a little bit more than a marathon. But yeah, I love all the food stations. It's something like they never have that for marathon. They only have water stations. But I think that the idea of the food stations for the ultras is perfect. Like I love it. Cheeseburgers and burrito like tacos are always like they'll have tortillas. But yeah, like I forget which one. I think it was like Moab. The Moab 240. They definitely have like a couple of stations where people are cooking cheeseburgers for the runners. Because I saw that on one of the videos I was watching. But like in for UTMB, it's more like there's soup, there's there's fruit, there's fruit is almost a constant. They had some charcuterie kind of things for people who actually wanted the protein and fat. But yeah, it's a whole different world with the ultra marathons. I think that's why I got into it because I love to watch this stuff. I follow it now. I follow the sport. But I don't know that I ever want to do a 100 miler. Like that just sounds like heinous. I think not getting sleep would kill me. Would pretty much destroy me. I think I'm too old to be doing that to my body. Is what I think. Yep. The pickles and the pickle juice, the salt, the sodium, the salt pills. Yeah. Yeah, and you don't. I can see how you don't want your feet in the same shoes for the whole run. It's hard enough to find shoes that actually you like on your feet, and then you have to find two. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this 21K goes. If the 21K is like traumatizes me forever, then then it's shorter races for me. But if I enjoy it, then who knows? If I enjoy it, then what I'll probably do is I'll try to come back every year and see how if I can just get slowly improve at it. It's an expensive race, but I mean, for a weekend, a fun weekend for me. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I think there are still some more local 100 milers where you don't need to do qualifiers, aren't there? Or I guess now, actually, I was just reading about this. Killian Jornet had a blog entry about this that I just read a couple days ago, where he mentioned that more and more racers are putting those prerequisites in because otherwise it can be dangerous, right? And so they want to make sure that people are prepared before they run that 100 miler because otherwise, that's where you have people like really breaking down. So yeah, I can see why. Like for UTMB, you have to do like at least 100 kilometer race in order to qualify to do the Ultra Trail de Mont Blanc because it's scary. You're up in the mountains. You're going through 3 countries. You have aid stations, but there are miles between them.